Okay, so welcome to session 2 of the Red Faction level design workshops. And what would you like to get started with?
So, listing for today. Doorways. Let's start with
Doors? Okay.
let's start with the brushes and the objects. Then we can go back to clutter and things.
Okay. So, like, I guess talking about doorways, there's really three elements. There's the portal entrance, or sorry, like the portal cutout, which you've already done. That's that
Mm-hmm.
airbrush that you have there. There's a
Yep.
door frame that you'll normally want to make. Making a door frame is literally just making brushwork and setting it to is detail. So I mean, we can go over that if you want. It's
Sure.
not really the biggest deal, but yeah, okay. Let's go over that. So just go into brush mode.
Uh,
Easiest thing to do here, just grab your doorway.
oh, oh, Christ! It's so hard to grab. Just oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay, so copy and paste that and move it into your room. Now, over on the left-hand side, untick is portal and hit update.
And then
And change the type to solid up at top. And build.
probably gonna. I'm just making sure it's not actually on the player stuff. Okay. Yeah. Where are we?
Build, press spacebar.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, so we're going to use the Carve tool for this. This
Okay.
is one of the few uses that I always, well, I should say always, but I very, very commonly use the Carve tool for this because it's really handy. So copy and paste this brush
Okay.
and just leave it where it is. Change the type to air, go into stretch, and say a 0.25 width for the door frame seems to make sense. So set the height to no, not that, not that. Set
Oh,
that
sorry.
back to whatever it was. I think it was 0.5.
I will
Um,
cancel and go back in.
oh yeah, sure.
Stretch. There we go.
So go to height, set that to 3.25, and set
Ah,
depth to 2.5, and hit OK. Now in top view, set your grid size to 0.25 and move that up once. Now if you
center.
build, it should, and go back now in the free look. So there you go. So it takes a chunk out of it. Now keep the airbrush selected. Select the solid brush.
Uh,
Yep. Now hit the carve button. So when you carve, and don't click anything yet. So when you carve, basically you're taking the airbrush and you are subtracting it from the solid brush and merging the solid brush. Well, you're taking the airbrush, you're subtracting it from the solid brush permanently. So the solid brush now has a chunk taken out of it. And if you just move that solid brush over, just like move it to the right in top view, and just,
it's
yeah, so build, you'll see if you go down to free look, there's now a chunk taken out of that. I will note, very important though, when you carve, unlike a lot of other engines, like I'm thinking Hammer, for example, it doesn't remove the brush that you carved out. So your airbrush is
okay.
still there. You can see it in the top view there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're going to want to delete that airbrush.
Yeah, just go ahead and.
Yeah, just delete that.
So
Um,
it's kind of like a Boolean cut in Blender where it just cuts through the object.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's actually
Okay.
it's actually the exact same thing as if you just have a solid brush with an airbrush cutting into it, a boolean operation in the editor, but it's permanent.
Okay.
It is permanently cut out of that solid brush now. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to set this brush to is detail. So if you just tick is detail over on the right or the left and then hit update and then build, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. But now that brush is set to detail, detail brushes in this engine can't be cut out of by airbrushes.
Okay.
However, the reason why I'm telling you to set this to is detail, well, I guess there's two major reasons. One is that it can't be geoed when it's detail, but that's not really relevant for what we're doing right now. The thing that's relevant for what we're doing right now is that when you have an airbrush portal, which your door frame is, normal solid brushes will never render inside them. The portal always cuts out of solid brushes. So
Okay.
you need to set your door frame to is detail to have it appear within the portal airbrush.
Okay.
So
That makes
just
sense,
move your
actually.
door frame over into the
portal.
airbrush. Yep. And hit build. And there you go. Now you have a door frame. Now we can go through
Nice.
texturing it a little bit if you want.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Because
So
obviously I don't know what textures sort of make up a door frame in this universe.
yeah, and I mean it is very commonly up to you. Or well, it's completely
Yeah.
up to you. But I mean, we can do something that'll look decent. So just go into texture mode. The ones that I like using for this, if you just go to Browse and go to Supports, and use the girder textures. These are what I like using. So
Any of
say,
these ones here?
yeah, like girder 03 maybe.
There's two.
Well, all right. Double click. One of them's like dirty or something, but anyway, yeah, that's good.
There.
Yeah, there you go. And now click one of the default texture. Yep, there you go. And now Shift D. Yep.
Okay.
And then apply map. And okay, so if I were you, I'd want to UV unwrap this a little differently.
Yeah. Okay.
So you might want to just take all of the vertices and move them down a little bit.
Uh,
Yeah, I was just going to say, try to get used to zooming in on what you're doing because it'll make what you're doing a lot more accurate. So just move everything down 2 or 1. There you go. So just hit.
2.
I'd say 2. Yeah. Just hit OK and then hit apply. The top of your door frame looks pretty good there now.
It's these side ones, yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, for these, like, you can either use a different texture for those, or you can like rotate these in UV unwrap. If you rotate them, you're gonna need to like select them separately. So just click somewhere else, and then yeah.
Jesus.
It's something you're probably gonna find very useful here. Yeah, here, just click one of them. Just select one of them, and then go into UV unwrap. Select all of those vertices, and now hold R and rotate, 6 times, I think? There you go.
Yes.
Now, you notice it does get stretched out a little bit?
Yes.
That's based on the aspect ratio of the texture that's applied. So this texture is 2:1. It's 128 by 64. So it just scaled your UV unwrapping thing. Now, if you want to get around that, the easiest way is just to go to non-uniform scaling there on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, I always forget which one is U and which one is V. I'm pretty sure if you type 0.5 in U and 2 in V, that's going to be right. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that sets it back to normal. The aspect ratio is the same. So now you're probably going to want to set your movement increment to lower. You can use the brackets here, the same as in normal.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, well, I think that's a little off. Maybe, yeah, there you go. That looks right. Now hit OK.
Yep. Okay. Apply.
Yep. And there you go. Now, quick trick that you're probably going to want to use for this type of thing. You can copy and paste UVs. So hit Control C right now, and then select the other side, and then hit Control V, and then hit apply.
Oh, that's
shit!
Nice.
It got broken. Do that with the top. Do that with sometimes. Yeah, sometimes the yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's not going to like you doing that. So, I probably should have said this at the start. Sometimes when you carve brushes, it adds like extra vertices to it. And if the number of vertices on the face don't match, you're not going to be able to copy and paste UVs. So, anyway, we'll just do this manually. But like on a lot of geometry, copy and pasting UVs will work very well. It's just not appropriate here. Anyway, hit apply map.
Yeah, break it back open. Okay.
Yeah, and do the exact same thing again here.
Should I can change this first, right?
No, you have to rotate it first.
Okay.
Well, okay, I guess technically you don't. You could do it. It just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Yep, and now move it. So you can see the process for doing things like this is a little tedious. It takes a while.
Yeah.
That's why you'll see in a lot of maps people will not do this type of thing for door frames, and they'll just like use flat textures or something.
Yes.
Now I will mention, if you notice like the detail on the texture, the bright side on the top and the right side is facing inside, and on that side it's facing out. You can just hit flip X and then apply. And or build. Wait, maybe it's Y. I always mix up X and Y. There. Okay, go back into UV Unwrap and just adjust it a little tiny bit.
Let me just.
Yeah, sure. There you go. And now you can do the same on the reverse if you like. It's kind of up to you. You might be able to copy and paste UVs over to the other side, actually.
So I just copy right now?
Yep, just copy, and then select another face and paste. I will also just mention quickly, when you're talking... No, try the other side. When you're copy and pasting... Yeah, okay. It's not going to like it. When you're copy and pasting UVs, which is a lot more useful when you're mapping than it seems like, based on this example, you need to copy from one face, but you can paste to multiple. So, like, if you have one face that is unwrapped in a certain way and you want a bunch of other faces to be the same, you can do a one-to-many, but you can't do a many-to-one. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you're probably...
Try one more time.
Yep.
Flip Y or X?
I think it'd be Y. And you're going to need to adjust it a little bit, but yeah.
Try one more time. No. Okay. Or
yeah,
the shot.
Yeah, that happens sometimes when you're using Carve, especially because, like, the way the Boolean operation does, it welds vertices in ways that you probably wouldn't. If you were making geometry, like, from scratch rather than through the Carve or Fuse tools, that would be a lot cleaner, and that would work a lot better.
No. Alright.
And now, so for the inside, I guess, maybe you just want to select all three of those and hold R here and rotate 6 times. And then hit apply. No, hit apply. There you go.
Oh.
And now you can go to UV Unwrap and just adjust those so that they match a little bit nicer.
Oh, Christ. See you first.
Hit OK.
That's probably it.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. And there you go. Now, if you want to, you can probably just copy and paste the UVs from the top brush onto the floor. Probably. I'm assuming that's the same number of vertices. And hit apply. Yeah, there you go.
That worked.
All right. So now you have a door frame. Now, let's make a door. So go to brush mode. Well, you probably want to save your map, actually. You should probably get into the habit of saving half often, just in case you have a crash or something.
I'll tell you what.
Oh, you can go play, sure.
On in. Let's kill him so we don't get interrupted. Yeah.
There you go. Now, obviously, you can make like the edges a bit nicer with some more like precise UV unwrapping and stuff, but you know,
just for practice, that's up to you. Getting it down. Yeah. All right.
All right. So now go back into the editor.
Ugh.
Okay. Now, go to brush mode. Now, I'm gonna recommend something here. Just click on your door frame in Freelook. Okay, so this actually is exactly why I'm suggesting what I'm suggesting. So press the Q key. That will lock the brush that you have selected. Now click the door frame. Press the Q key again. So now select your door like cutout, the portal.
Which one is it again?
Yeah, it's that one right there. All right. Yeah, that's right. Now Nope.
Oh, wait. It's not selecting.
It is. It is. It's just.
Shit.
Yeah. So, copy and paste.
Copy paste.
Then press I to invert your selection.
I.
Then press Q.
Q.
So what that will do will isolate this brush. So now the only brush that you can change right now until you unlock the rest of your brushes is this brush that we're going to work on. It makes it really easy to work on brushes that are overlapping if you isolate it so you can't accidentally click any other things. So select that.
But I known that
brush.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty useful. Now untick is portal. And tick is detail. And hit update. Now go to stretch. And say we want your door to be 0.25 wide.
So this is the...
Yeah, and 3.25 high. Probably should have said that first. And depth 2.5. Because we want this to fit in the gap. And yep. And then move it up once. Yeah. And now you're probably going to want to lower your grid size once and center it in the door frame. There you go. Now change the type to solid. And build.
And base.
And now you have a door. So, texture your door a little bit.
Yes.
So here's what I would do for doors. Because, and I'll show you how to do this for the door frame as well in a second, it's a best practice to get into when you're doing anything with movers or detail brushes, that any faces that the player will never be able to see, you put an invisible texture on them.
Okay.
That helps performance a lot. So what I would do is I would go to folder here, effects, select that, yeah, that one right there. The invisible textures are broken down based on material type. It doesn't really matter when it's a wall because, well, you can't shoot it because it's invisible and you can't walk on it because it's a wall. But if this was something that you were walking on, the footstep sounds would be affected by whatever the material is. So the gray one is metal, the green one is solid, the blue one is rock. So, yeah. But yeah, just do the one that makes the most sense. So for the door, we'll do metal. Hit OK. Now select one face on the door. Hit Shift S to select all of them. Apply map. Now your door is totally invisible. Obviously you don't want that, but that is the easiest thing because most of the faces on your door you're going to want to be invisible because you can only ever see 3 faces. You can see the bottom one when the door is opened, and you can see the 2 sides.
But you can't see anything on the outside.
Exactly. So doing it that way just makes all of those invisible without you having to go and manually do them all.
Then we just go and select each face individually.
Yep, the ones that you want to actually texture. So go to Browse, and go to Doors. And, I mean, take a pick. Pick one that can be used as a one element door, because, like I said before, like, yeah, that works. If you want to have a door that has 2 parts, the process is the same, you just do it twice. So, I'm not going to bother going over that just because it's a waste of time. But that door you have selected there works.
Are we going up or are we going to the side?
It doesn't matter. Okay. You can use them in whatever way you want. I was thinking about going up just because
then yeah, I'll use this
seems to make the most sense for a door with those dimensions. But
fair.
So apply, and apply map, and go to UV Unwrap.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're going to want to manipulate this so that your door is how you like.
Pull it up so I can always move it into one of them. Remind me how to scale it happily here.
So I wouldn't use scale for this. I would just drag vertices. So I would select the 2 on the right side. So just click anywhere, or yeah, there you go. Do that. And now drag those over. There you go. And do the same for the top.
One.
Yeah, good enough.
Is that right?
Yeah, looks good. Now hit OK and apply. Now, you can copy and paste UVs for this. So I would copy this, zoom around to the other side of the door, select the face on the other side, and hit paste, and then hit apply.
Hey!
Now, go to the bottom of your door, because you're going to want to do something down there as well. And you're going to want that face down there to be textured because you're going to see it when the door's open. So to be honest, if I were you, I would paste your door here, and then I would go to UV Unwrap and change it. So paste UV, yeah, there you go. Now go to UV Unwrap, and you're going to want to, yeah, you're actually going to want to rotate this, I think. Yeah, just because if you look at the door in free look, you can see the trim is on the sides that you don't want it on. So there you go.
Yeah.
And probably just move it up. Yeah, that's good enough.
I'll try and make it exact. Probably just one more.
Yeah, there you go. And you can also just drag up the vertices on the bottom if you want, just to have it a bit more exact. But ultimately, all of this is just up to, you know, how much fine-tuning you want to do. So now you have a door.
Okay.
Let's make it move.
Yes.
All right, so build. It's a good idea to build just kind of as a best practice whenever you do major changes before you do other edits. Yeah. So now, go into group mode.
Group mode. There we go.
And select your door. Hit create. So basically and just call it like door 01 or something. The basic workflow for doing any mover, and a door would be a mover, is you create a group that goes there as a user-defined group, and if you expand out user-defined groups on the left, you'll see it there. Then click on the user-defined group for door 1, and then hit keyframe. When you hit keyframe...
Where's that?
Down.
Oh.
There you go. When you do that, you'll notice moving groups just got a plus next to it.
Yep, and that's moved it down there.
Yeah, so a user-defined group that has movers included in it is a moving group. That's basically, there you go. So now, so first off, just click somewhere in top view just to deselect everything. Now, go over to moving groups over on the side, click door 1, and then hit keyframe again. This creates a silver keyframe. Go to your side view, like front or left, and move it up. And yeah, move it up wherever you want. That, I mean, sure.
That'll do it.
Good enough.
So
we can always measure. Yeah, we can always measure later. But the way that that's going to work is the gold keyframe is the origin of your moving group. The silver keyframe is where everything is going to be moved to proportional to where the gold keyframe is when the keyframe is activated. Okay. So the door at the moment is centered on the gold keyframe. When the door is open, it's going to be centered on the silver keyframe.
Okay.
So that's exactly what you want. Now, let's adjust some options. So for this, I would go into object mode just because it makes it easier, and we're going to be there for triggers in a second anyway. You're going to have to rebuild. It forces you to do that whenever you make a moving group.
Okay.
So first things first, select your gold keyframe.
Control P.
So here are a lot of options. You're going to want to tick is door for these.
Yep.
I will, for anybody watching this, I know you've already seen this, and I've said it multiple times, but for anyone watching this, that is door tick box has a lot of impact on portaling in the engine. I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel specifically about door rooms. There's also a page on the wiki that goes through all the implications of that is door switch that I'll put in the description below. But basically, don't just tick that option without being aware of what it does, because if you don't portal the map properly, it's going to cause you rendering problems. So, there you go. But I know you've already heard me talk about that a bunch.
I never watched that video.
Exactly. So, first thing, go to movement type.
Where are we here?
Up top there? Yeah, so go to that menu. For doors, you're going to want to normally use either ping pong once or loop once. For a moving group that only has 2 keyframes, it doesn't really matter. They're both the exact same thing. The only way that it would be different is that ping pong once goes like 1, 2, and then back to 1. If you had 3 keyframes, loop, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, it would just loop around at the end. So it would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But
I see.
When you only have 2 keyframes, they're doing the exact same thing. So
okay.
Ping pong once. So you can put your sounds in here if you want. That's pretty straightforward. I think door open 01 is a good one.
Where's the sounds in here?
You can either use your own. So you're probably going to want to type file names rather than browse. But You can either use your own, or you can refer to sounds that are in audio.vpp.
So I wouldn't be able to find it from here then, would I?
Not unless you had them extracted.
No. Okay. Do you
So
have a door sound off the top of your head?
Yeah, sure. Do door open 01.wave.
Door open 01.
.wave.
Dot wave. Oh.
Yeah, and for looping sound, do door loop 01.wave. I'm pretty sure these are right. I'm doing them from memory, so I hope they're right. And for stop sound, do door close 01.wave. I'm pretty sure those are right. I apologize if they're wrong.
Oh, it doesn't work. Okay.
And they might be wrong. I'm not sure, but we can fix those later.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and
Wait,
you don't
need the stop sound. I should probably go to close sound, shouldn't I?
They work a little differently. It's a bit hard to describe. You probably just want to experiment with those. Close sounds are used only for doors. Stop sounds are used for all keyframes. So,
a door is what we have here.
Yeah, sure. It's just they work a little different. It's difficult to describe, but if you test with them, you'll see the difference.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Now go to departing travel time. Down bottom there. No, up. There you go. So this is going to be the time it takes for your door to move from the gold keyframe to the silver keyframe. You're probably going to want that to be less than 1 second because doors need to open relatively quickly. I'd probably do like 0.2 or something like that. And the acceleration time, well, it doesn't matter for the returning one. The acceleration time and the deceleration time, you can smooth out the keyframe movement if you want, but to be completely honest, when it's moving from point A to point B in 200 milliseconds, you're probably not even going to notice how smooth it is. So, yeah, I'd just keep that as is for now. Hit OK. Now select the silver keyframe. And go to properties. Now you will notice a lot of these settings are on the moving group itself rather than the specific gold keyframe, like is door, ping pong ones, all the sounds and stuff. The ones that are not are these ones down here. So the travel times, all those sorts of things. So you're going to want to set departing travel time to 0.2 for this as well. And pause time is going to be the amount of time that the door spends at the silver keyframe. So I'd probably set that to like 1 second or something like that. And then hit, and then hit OK. Okay, now let's make, so now you have a door, but there's nothing to make it move because you don't have a trigger yet.
Yes.
So let's make a trigger. Go make a trigger door over on the left. And O and Control G to reorient it and grid align it. Now move it into the middle of your door.
That's about right?
Yeah, it should be right. Now, go to properties. Now, you're probably going to want to adjust the box size for this. Maybe depth. You want to match it to your door frame, 2.5. Width is probably fine as is. Yeah, sure. 2.5. And height, doesn't really matter. You're not going to be up on the ceiling, but sure. This is up to you. All this means is that when the center of the player is within this trigger, it's going to be activated. That's all this means. So go to trigger resets after. You're going to want to set, you're going to want to set that for a door frame. You're going to want to set that to like 0.01 or something like that, just because obviously you don't want the player to be standing there and the door to close on them.
Yes.
Now, there are a bunch of other options down below. You're not going to need any right now, but I will just note, use key is required to activate trigger. That does exactly what it says. If you had a button, if you had a button, you would tick that. If you wanted the door to open when you shot a rocket through it, you'd tick player weapon activates trigger.
That's like for the bridge where you shoot the lever, right?
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
2 more things I'll mention very quickly in here. Not that you need to use them right now, but for single player mapping, they're very useful. The disabled thing there, if you want to have like a door that is only active after you pick up like a key card or something, you'll tick the disabled box there, and then you'll have some type of scripting in your level to re-enable it. So the player has to do something before they can walk through the door. And the other thing that I'll mention, and the other thing that I'll mention is under activated by there, see how it's set to players only?
Where's that?
Up.
Oh,
Right
yes.
there. Yeah. Set to players only. So yeah, so you can control this. This isn't really useful in multiplayer, which is probably why there's no documentation on it. But for single player, you're probably going to want to set this to all objects in most cases,
So
because
everything
otherwise
everyone...
guards are just going to walk into it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so hit OK. And now we need to. Okay, so I just move the trigger out from the door a little bit, just because it'll make this process easier, and then we'll move it back in. Just move it out a little bit. So now you have your trigger selected. The flow that you're going to need, you're going to be linking the two of these, but the flow that you're going to need is trigger activates keyframe. So you want to make sure you select the trigger first, hold control, select the gold keyframe. Gold keyframe. Click. Now press K. And you can see the little blue arrow from the trigger to the keyframe. So now, move your trigger back into the doorway just to... just click somewhere. There you go. Move it into the doorway. And save and pack. Now give it a try.
Gonna do a little thing here to not let it crash. Hey. No sound though.
Doesn't go up for... Oh, okay. I guess I got the sound file names wrong. Doesn't go up.
I can. I mean, I know how to do it, so I can go and get the audio on that.
Oh, also, I told you something wrong, actually. The reason why it's slow to come down, that's the returning travel time on the gold keyframe. I messed that up. But you can edit that. And you might want to move the silver keyframe up a little bit, just so the door goes up higher.
But it is working, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. So just go to the gold keyframe and go to properties, and we'll fix these things. Change the returning travel time to 0.2. And I'm actually thinking now that the start and loop and close sounds are right. It's just there needs to be an underscore before the 01. Just put an underscore there, and then just hit preview. Does it work now?
Ah, yes.
Yeah,
got it now.
There you go. So put underscores there. That's my bad. Just reference audio.vpp for all those file names.
Yes, they're all working now.
Okay. Hit OK.
I will move the silver one up slightly.
Yeah, it's good. Save pack, and now it should work better.
I don't know why I wasted time with that, but yeah. That's better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wonderful. That's amazing. That's like magic to me, honestly. You don't know. Oh, dude. Magic. All right.
So, what do you want to do next? Well, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do unhiding entities, just because that's really easy with the setup that you already have.
Yes.
So, just go to your guard.
The one in this room.
Yes.
He's the only one here, obviously.
And go to properties. And start hidden at the bottom there. Right side.
Again. Right. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Start hidden and hit OK. So now he will be hidden when the game starts. So if you save and pack and start your level right now, he is not going to be there. He's not there.
Much better.
Exactly.
Now practice other things without him.
So, like I said before in the last one, you'd normally start most of your entities in your level hidden at the start of the game, both for resources and because, well, you don't want them to be spawned until you're somewhere near them, because if they are, they're probably going to hear gunfire and run towards you, and then there's going to be no enemies at the end of your map because they all ran to meet you at the start. So, yeah. So let's do this then. You're going to make a trigger. I would... Yeah, it doesn't actually matter. I would make it in the hallway past your door.
Probably somewhere around here, right?
Yeah, it works. And just make a trigger door. And now O and Control G. And just center it in your hallway.
Why did it move on the left when I'm up here?
You have local coordinates on again.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, be careful of that, because the G key switches between local and global. I don't think you hit Control G. I think you just hit G. Because that's not grid aligned.
No, it is.
Oh, your grid size is just 0.125. Okay. Move down. Down one. There you go. So go to properties on your trigger. Now, I would personally set width to 1, just because it's easier. And there you go.
Nice.
Trigger resets. You're going to want to set that to 1 time. And that box is actually named really poorly. That's not actually the amount of times it resets. That's the amount of times it can be activated. So basically what that means is that once you activate this trigger once, it's going to be inactive for the rest of the game, which is what you want, because you only want to unhide your guard once.
Yeah.
And the resets after doesn't matter when it's only set to 1. So you just hit OK. You don't need anything else here. Obviously, you want it only activated by players, because you only want the player to be able to unhide the guard.
A bit fucky if the card could unhide the card.
So now go to event.
I should put would it be easier to put an event near the guard or put it near the trigger?
It literally doesn't matter where you put the unhide event. It's just.
I think it's just for like the connection and like just visual.
Yeah, it's just kind of for ease of reference, more so when you are making it. Like, you could put this event on the other side of the map, it wouldn't matter, but it's not very intuitive when you go to look at your map later and wonder, like, where are things?
Is it just a normal trigger event?
No, it's under modifiers, I believe. Either modifiers or level. Modifiers, yeah. Unhide at the very bottom. And, yep, and I don't think there's any properties on unhide, no. Well, you could set a delay if you wanted. So, like, if you wanted, like, player walks through trigger, it waits a second and then unhides them. But that's fine for now. So, now, the flow for these, you're going to want to go trigger to unhide, because you're going to want the trigger to send a pulse to the unhide event. Press K. Now, unselect everything, and then select the unhide event, and then select the guard. And then press K again. So the event flow is trigger to unhide event to guard. So when the player walks through the trigger, the guard will be unhidden. So if you go over there, walk through, and then walk back.
Aha!
You have a guard now.
That's really cool.
I will mention, the engine will not unhide things when they are in your line of sight.
Yeah, so that's why I figured that's why I went like all the way back here just to be sure.
So
I know that because the door had a second, that's all.
Exactly. So it won't unhide them when they're in your line of sight. What it will do though is that if you put that trigger in this room so that you send that unhide pulse and the guard is within your line of sight, it will like cue the unhide until the guard is no longer in your line of sight, and then it will unhide them.
It's I know you've talked about that with the speed runs for Ancient Riverbed. You keep them in line of sight so that they don't spawn.
Exactly, yeah. And then they will spawn as soon as they're out of line of sight. So as soon as you go behind a rock or something, they'll spawn. And I say spawn. They're being unhidden. They're not actually spawning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. Now,
Awesome.
I guess next, if we want to, like, if you wanted to do something where, like, a guard is unhidden and then runs to you after he is unhidden, maybe we want to do something like that?
Yes.
So, the easiest way to do that, just make go to AI Actions. And now, there are two that are usually used for this. There's Go To and Go To Player. Go To Player, obvious, they go to the player. Go To, they will go to the position of the Go To event.
Right. So it's just like marking a path for them, really.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, when you send a pulse to a Go To event, you will say, like, this guard, go to this location. The guard will use the AI pathing and the nav points in your map to figure out a way to get there, and then he will go there.
My next question. If the event in the map doesn't need the nav points, but I assume yes.
You do need nav points. If you just send a pulse to a Go To event that the guard can't reach, he's just not going to move.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask because obviously it's a different event, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Suppose Go To Player in this case?
Yeah, I would probably use Go To Player.
Where the fuck did that go? Oh.
Also, shit, I need to make a map pack for game night in a few minutes. Go To Player, tick the run box just because it makes sense. And yeah. Okay, so now, Go To, guard, select guard, link.
What is it, sorry? Do I
Select go to player and then select the guard and hit link. And okay. And
I
so
just
now,
want to go away was there.
now you need a way to activate the go to player event though. So
Okay.
what I would do here is go into the go to player event.
Oh shit, sorry.
Yeah. Go into the properties on the go to player event. And set delay to like 0.01 or something like that. And okay. Now go to the unhide event. And click the unhide event. Then click the go to player event. And then hit K. So basically, trigger go to unhide event. Unhide unhides the guard, then sends a pulse to go to player, telling the guard to go to the player.
So if I
save
set that up
and test it out. So just walk into the doorway and just stay there. Yeah, just stay there. There you go. He comes to meet you. And he's not very happy about
it. Shooting him backwards like that never gets old. But yeah, that's simple things like that is really useful. Especially if because now I could for example, I can go through the loading screen into the second level, set one here, and then have one up here all the way over here. Essentially, right? It's kind of the same stuff. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's another tick box for me. Should probably redo the lighting in that other room.
Probably. Okay. So I need to go make a map for game night in a few minutes, but let's do.
Dialog would be the.
What is that?
Dialog would be the.
Right.
I think that's probably I mean, a door, AI pathing, and dialogue is probably a good set.
Okay, sounds good. So let's just
go ahead.
Let's just ignore our guard for a second. Just go to the corner of the room that you're in, and let's make an entity who's going to say something. So just go to the corner there. Go to entity. Let's go to Altor and make a comp tech. And go to properties on him. Now, untick cower from weapon at the bottom there, just because by default comp techs are going to cower away when you have a weapon out, and we don't want them to do that because we want them to say something.
Yes.
Hit OK. And just move him out from the wall a little bit. He's stuck in the wall. Okay, so now let's just put a trigger on top of him so that it'll be activated when the player goes near him. So just put like a trigger door near him. And go to properties on the trigger door.
Just move it into the level as well.
Yeah. Set it to reset once. Because we don't want this to activate once. Hit OK. And now make a message event, which is under level in events.
Then level
message. And yep. Okay. So now select your trigger. Select the message event, and link it. Go to the properties on the message event. And okay, so hang on, actually, just to exit out of this for a second, we need to get the UID of the comp tech. So select your comp tech, and you can see down in the bottom left hand corner his UID is 28. That is his unique identifier for that entity object. So just remember that 28. Then go into message properties and speaker UID, set that to 28. So that's going to make this guy say this speech.
Yes.
If this was a HUD message, you would tick play as HUD persona message, but we're going to get him to speak it, so we're not going to tick that. HUD persona... What was that?
It's important to know, because that's the story stuff.
Yeah, that's how you would make a radio message. The process is identical. It's just if it's a radio message, instead of having a speaker UID, it just is 0, and you set a persona and tick play as HUD message. Other than that, the process is identical.
the next time, just so, because that's where you have to put it up in a table file, right?
Well, you have to do that for this as well.
Oh, okay.
So message ID, that'll make sense in a second. That corresponds to the table file. So
Okay.
just hit OK and save this, and you can pack it if you want. Now go to your red faction folder and open up levels 1.
This one.
Yep, open that up in VP Viewer, sure. Now open up, take like L1S1 underscore text.tbl.
This one here.
Yeah, just open up that just so we can copy the syntax. So now take everything under 1 and 0 there and just copy and paste that whole, no, like everything, the entire block for 1 and for 0.
Oh, for both of these. Okay.
Yeah, just take all of that and copy and open up a new notepad file. Paste it. I think you have to right click and copy in this.
Oh.
There you go. Okay, so this is going to be the syntax. Let's just leave the wave files like that just because we don't have voiceover recording. So let's just leave them that way. So save this. Save this in your user map single folder, I guess.
Who's there? Yep, here.
And yeah, so just save this as learning underscore text.tbl and set the save as type to all files.
All, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, it needs to be the name of your RFL file underscore text.tbl.
Is it learning 1 or is it learning?
I think it's learning.
Double check that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just learning. There you
go. Learning, yep.
Learning. And save that.
Save that.
Okay, now.
Close this now?
Yeah, close that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the last thing you're going to need to do to make this work, the game will not load this file unless it's in a VPP file. So go to your single folder, and you can put this in a different VPP file to your map if you want. But actually, you should probably do that just because every time you create a pack file in the editor, it's going to overwrite it. So just make a new VPP file. You can actually, if you want, the easiest way, just copy and paste the learning VPP file. Literally just copy and paste that, and then rename it to like Dialog or something. It really doesn't matter what this is named, like learning Dialog or whatever. And then open that in VPP Builder.
And then just drop the text into it.
Well, and delete the RFL file as well, because that's in the other file. And then just drop the text file in, and then save. Now if you go back to red and play your map, and walk over to your CompTech. I think you're actually, yeah, there you go. Walk over to your CompTech.
It's really disorientating here at the CompTech site.
Yeah, but either way, you heard him say something, and you see his lips moving. That's because the speaker UID has been set, so he is going to be the entity to say that. So if you want, we can just very quickly do the HUD message as well.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
Just exit.
The only thing is, I noticed you had me copy paste both lines there, but he only said the first one.
Yeah, I did the second one for a HUD message.
Ah. Yeah.
So
thinking ahead.
Exactly. So you need something to do this. I guess let's just do it when you walk into the hallway. Let's do it that way. So just grab your you can actually use the same trigger if you wanted to, but I just make a copy of the one that unhides your guard. Nope, just make a copy of the one that unhides your guard and just move it a little bit.
Oh, no.
Make a copy of it. You could use the same one if you wanted to have the same trigger, both unhide a guard and play a HUD message, but we'll do them separate. There you go. Now go into the level. Oh, all the properties are still fine. Go into the level and make another message event. And then go to properties. set the message ID to 1, because we wanted to play the message ID 1. And play as HUD message, and you can set the persona to wherever you want. Hendrik, sure.
Why not?
Hit OK. And now go to that trigger that you just made and link it to your message event. The
event
left
tick
is the new one.
first. The event tick first, or
No, the trigger links to the event. So trigger, then event, then hit K. And save pack file. And then if you walk over, yeah, there you go. He says that. Now if you walk out there, you'll get a home message. See?
That's impressive. I'm very happy with that. It's much easier than it sounded to begin with.
Actually, I tell you what, let's do one more thing just because it's super easy and you'll find it useful. So just quit. Let's just go to your door trigger for a second.
The box here.
Yeah, go to the trigger. Okay, so yeah, every time you do that, it's going to select the keyframe. Easy thing, press the H button. It'll hide the keyframe. And then select trigger and go to properties and set it to disabled. And hit OK. And now, to enable a trigger, all you need to do is send a pulse to that trigger. So from an event or another trigger, you just send a pulse to that trigger and it will re-enable it. So go to your CompTech trigger for the message.
This one.
Another trigger.
Oh.
Select that, then select the door trigger and hit K. Hit K. Oh, actually, I should mention this very quickly because I told you how to lock stuff before, but I didn't tell you how to unlock. Press Shift Q. That will unlock all of your brushes.
Hey.
And likewise, if you want to unhide all of your objects because you just hid the keyframe, Shift W will do that.
Shift W.
That unhides all your objects. There you go. So now hit save and pack and play your map. Now, if you try to walk into the door now, it will not open. Your trigger's been disabled. Now go talk to the CompTech. There you go.
Oh, now he cowers. Okay.
Now he's scared. And he'll run away as well.
And he'll go through the loading level.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he will continue cowering.
Pussy. I had to shoot him in the back, mind you. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. So I think that's I think that should be a good thing for today. And
covers nice variant topics.
Yeah, exactly. And like those are, when it really boils down to it, like those are the majority of the sequences that single player levels are made from. You got dialogue, you got enemies, you're manipulating enemies, you're making them move places, you're unhiding them on command, you're activating triggers. Like,
yep.
Those are the main elements of single player maps, to be honest.
I think the only thing next time, if there's next time, well, I mean, there's a few more advanced things, but actual AI path things, so they're actually moving around inside the level.
Yeah.
Like when you go to camera 2 and you watch guards walking around the levels and shit.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. That's done with waypoint lists, and we can talk about that next time, but the basic flow is just like you specify a bunch of nav points, and then you tell the guard to move between them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go over that next time. We'll go over some geometry, and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to end this video now. We'll see you next time, everybody who is hopefully finding this useful. Goodbye.